She keeps busy kayaking, horseback riding, or is busy in her vineyard. Renee feels that she has been richly blessed. Ooh,
Whoa!
she would like that.
Whoa!
Renee, you'll take off on that one,
Whoa!
She has been richly blessed with abundant gifts.
It's true. I want you, every one of you, to stand up, look at each other, and I want you to give yourselves a standing ovation. You have the job I always wanted, but I couldn't stand needles or blood. So can you stand up? Woohoo! Wow.
I typically hear lots of presentations that are real serious, sober, got to take notes. This is one of those where you'll remember. I'll remember the stories that she told. I will be able to relate it to other situations. I've actually heard her before, and even the two stories that were repeats made me laugh and cry as much as I did the first time, and she's just a wonderful presenter.
I had one of those hair pieces to make your hair look a little fuller. As I leaned over to drive my point home about how we take care of our patients, they're not just a number. They're someone's grandma, sister, brother, friend. This goes like this. Out into the audience. I said, Dr. Johnson, would it be possible for me to get my hair back? So you be him. Could you be him? Okay, you pick it up like this, like it's a rat. You bring it up towards me, Chris, all right? He comes up, brings it up like this. Exactly. I take it. The urologists in the back are like this. When do we start thinking about our legacy? There's 4 major times in your life. When do you start thinking about your legacy? When you have kids. Number 1, yep, very smart group so far. Number 2, grandkids. Well, Chris, you're on a roll. Let's go. Retire, okay. When you face death. Oh my God, you are so smart. Is he the smartest nurse? So we left and done with our land, and shortly after that, I received a call from my great-granny. Now, my great-granny was 103. Her favorite nurse, Renee Helvig, I'll never forget her, comes in the room, and I said, what makes her a good nurse, Granny? She said, she comes in here every day, and I don't know what her life is like at home, but she smiles. Don't you, Renee? And she said, she lives in the moment. She lives in the present. In the moment, she lives.
I thought she was very motivational, very inspiring. I think she tugged at everyone's heartstrings. I found myself laughing and crying almost at the same time. Really made you proud of your profession and what you've done, and kind of made you think back at the people that you've impacted, and hopefully you've had a positive impact on them just as the nurses have had on Renee.
And I remember Gail, his nurse. She said, you know, Renee, why don't you let me call Tom? Can I call Tom? Would that be okay? Why don't you sit in here? And I said, you know, I have a sick feeling like something's not right. She said, well, you know, I think it'll just be good if Tom will be with you. And she was so calm. Like in that moment, I kind of wanted to go from 0 to 10. And she was so calming. And so Tom came in, and Dr. Canton said, you know, I wish I had better news for you. And she has a very rare bone tumor right above her growth plate. I said, a bone tumor? What the heck? Older people get bone tumors. What do you mean a bone tumor? And I remember sitting in there, I was so shocked. We, as like patients and relatives of the patients, sometimes we just don't have any clue that. So every one of you nurses, you're the ones that really give us our grounding, because we can't even hear. I couldn't even hear straight. And we're waiting, and these 2 lovely nurses, I still don't know their name, they didn't have name tags on that day, they're talking to her and just making her feel so calm, just so calm. And they're looking at me calm, like this is just a routine day at the office, you know, just. All of a sudden, this man comes barreling through the door, this little guy. But he comes in and he goes, oh my gosh, is our movie star here? And he walks in, he's got this big smile, and that operating room loved him. You could tell. that he commanded their respect, but he was a team player. The nurses are like, hey, Dr. Closey, hey, Dr. Closey, how you doing? Da-da-da. The movie stars arrived. He walks over to my daughter and he goes, well, there she is. And he looks at her, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe they're granting a wish. There's a movie star in here. So you see what he did, and you see what happened to the people he was with? They were a team. And my daughter just wasn't a somebody anymore. She was a name and a nickname who had a purpose, who had a life outside of that gurney.
There really isn't anything in Renee's presentation that you can't take home with you. She touches on life issues, life stories, the importance of being present in the moment, and really connecting with people and living outside your box and going above and beyond in certain cases.
And I pull in next to this van, this mint green van, and there's 3 gentlemen outside, and I get out of my car and I say, hey boys, welcome to God's country. The one guy looks at me and he goes, are you talking to us? Yeah, hey boys, welcome to God's country. How do you like it? I see you're from Tennessee. And I am smiling and talking to these guys, and I'm taking a risk. I'm giving them my card. They're giving me like all this stuff about them. We're talking. I know they're firstborn by the time we're done. They're washing my windows. They've never looked so good. Stanley, Harold, and James, that was their names. And they're like, you know, have a great time at the Fertile Fair. I mean, we knew each other. We knew each other. I'm hugging them all goodbye at the Senex station. I mean, who does that? Nobody. So glad I did. You know that one quote, which is one of my favorite, and I can't think of who says it off the top of my head, but ships in harbor are safe, but that's not what ships are meant for. They're meant to get out of the harbor. You guys are meant to get out. You're meant to take risks. You're meant to get out to sea, get some barnacles on you. You're meant to go and smile at someone you don't know. I'm driving away. Bye, guys. Love you guys. And I head home to the Fertile Fair, and I got there just in time to go on the rides, and I got to look at all of the animals and had a ball with my kids. I had about 3 hours, and it was the perfect end of the perfect day. But those boys were my highlight. They touched my heart because I let them. I took that risk, and I let them. So the next note is from Stanley, the spokesperson. Dear girlfriend, it's me, your boyfriend. He said, what a trip. It was so great to meet you in God's country. And how was the Fertile Fair? We had a wonderful time. What you couldn't have known that day at that Senex station is that my bucket list was so much more shorter than I had shared with you. I write this from my room, my hospice room in Knoxville, Tennessee. Girlfriend, I have had a wonderful life, touched by faith and family and so many friends, and I count you among them. You would have never known that day what your smile did for an old man. For that one day, you made an old man feel like a boy again. Love you forever. Kisses and kisses. And he drew all these lips on there. Love you forever. Your boyfriend. The next thing I opened was Stanley's funeral folder. And on the funeral folder, they had my name and my quote, when life's journey is over and it's time to leave mankind, it's not what you take with you, but what you leave behind. And they had my quote on there, and there was a little note in there, Stanley's newest friend. Smile a lot. That's what it said, right on the funeral folder.
I am so fortunate in the position that I have because I'm a registered nurse at the hospice house here in Sioux Falls. So when she says how, we have an opportunity to be so important to those people, all the people that come there that are dying or not dying, and how we make such a difference in the way we treat all of our people, I just felt so fortunate that I have that opportunity.
That is the power of a smile. That is one thing that you guys continually do day after day after day, no matter what. So please, if you remember nothing from today's conversation, just smile. But at the end of my journey, I know my legacy. You know, I hope that is your legacy. That you spread that wherever you go. I know at the end of my journey and my legacy, I hope is that I made a difference and I made people laugh some of the same things I told you. And I really want to leave like that Dorothy Perkins quote, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. But I want to leave here and I want to be a hootin' and a hollerin' and a kicking and a screaming. And I want to skid in a little broadside. I want to look up. I want to say, now, that was one heck of a ride. I wish all of you the ride. Continue to make a difference, and thank you from all of my life experiences and all the nurses in my life. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me come. Have a great day.
There's actually a couple that were very important to me, and I think the fact that she was able to talk to us about being present, always living in the moment, and no matter who you're interacting with or who you're talking or listening to be present in the moment, it gives you more joy, and it gives the individual you're working with more joy as well. And the other is to always wear that smile, and how much that means to other people, people you don't even know, people who you've never met before, to go outside yourself and greet them with a smile.
I think probably pay it forward. It was really inspirational, and it helped me really think about what I could be doing at work and even at home and in my personal life, and it was really motivating.
The first is how important a smile is, and to be a risk taker, to step out of your comfort zone and talk to people and do what is not your normal. So smiling is really important, and the whole legacy. Thinking about what is my legacy, what does that mean, just made me think.